The roar of Stamford Bridge was a living thing, a tidal wave of sound that crashed over Peter Osgood, christened Ossie by the adoring fans. He was a god amongst men, a silky smooth striker with an elegance that belied his power, a man who could conjure magic from the mud and the rain. But even gods, as the Greeks knew, were not immune to tragedy. This is the tale of Peter Osgood, a man whose name is etched in the annals of English football history. On February 20th, 1947, in the historic town of Windsor, England, a child was born, a boy who would go on to become one of Chelsea's most beloved icons. Peter Osgood came from a working-class family, where football was more than just a pastime, it was a way of life. His father was a keen amateur footballer, and from the moment young Peter could walk, he had a ball at his feet. His father, a factory worker, and his mother, a homemaker, instilled in him the values of hard work and humility. From a young age, it was clear that Osgood was destined for greatness on the football pitch. As a child, Osgood spent hours kicking a ball around the streets of Windsor, dreaming of playing for a big club. By the time he was in his early teens, his talent was undeniable. He played for local teams, dazzling scouts with his ability to dribble past defenders with ease. He had natural grace, a keen footballing mind, and most importantly, the hunger to succeed. It wasn't long before Chelsea came calling. At 16, he was invited for a trial. By the end of the session, the coaches knew they had found something special. Osgood signed for Chelsea in 1964 and was thrown into the first team at just 17 years old. Most teenagers would have been nervous stepping into a squad filled with established players, but not Osgood. His debut came in a League Cup match against Workington, where he scored twice. It was clear, this kid was different. Over the next few seasons, he developed into one of England's most exciting young strikers. He wasn't just a goal poacher, he had an elegance about him, a flair that made him stand out. At 6 feet 1 inch, he was powerful in the air, but his footwork was equally impressive. He could dribble past defenders with ease, something rarely seen in a man of his size. In the late 1960s, he had become the heart and soul of Chelsea's attack, forming a brilliant partnership with the likes of Charlie Cook and Alan Hudson. The 1969-70 season would go down in Chelsea's history as one of the most significant in the club's early years. Osgood, now in his prime, led the club to the FA Cup final against Leeds United, a brutal physical affair that tested the limits of footballers in that era. The final at Wembley ended in a 2-2 draw, forcing a replay at Old Trafford. In one of the most brutal and fiercely contested matches in FA Cup history, Osgood wrote his name into Chelsea folklore. It was a brutal, bruising encounter fought in the mud of Old Trafford. With Chelsea trailing, he produced a moment of brilliance, a diving header that levelled the score. Chelsea went on to win 2-1 in extra time, securing their first ever FA Cup. That goal wasn't just a highlight in Osgood's career, it was a defining moment for Chelsea Football Club. It cemented his status as the King of Stamford Bridge. A year later, Osgood played a key role in Chelsea's European Winners' Cup triumph, scoring in the final against Real Madrid in Athens. He was now at the peak of his career, one of the best strikers in England. Despite his success on the pitch, Osgood's off-field lifestyle began to raise eyebrows. He loved the high life, London's nightclubs, celebrity parties, and the lavish lifestyle that came with being a football star. His relationship with manager Dave Sexton was strained. Sexton, a disciplinarian, disapproved of Osgood's playboy lifestyle. Osgood, a free spirit, chafed under the restrictions. The two clashed frequently, and by 1974 their relationship had soured beyond repair. In a shocking move, Chelsea sold Osgood to Southampton for £275,000, a decision that devastated fans. For the Chelsea faithful, it was the equivalent of tearing out the club's heart. At Southampton, Osgood proved he still had plenty left to offer. He led the club to FA Cup glory in 1976, becoming one of the few players to score in 2 FA Cup finals. But deep down, he knew he was never meant to wear any shirt other than Chelsea's. After brief stints at Norwich City and Philadelphia Fury, Osgood returned to Chelsea in 1978. However, he was no longer the same player. His speed had diminished, and his once effortless grace seemed laboured. By 1979, at just 32, he hung up his boots, a premature end for a player of his calibre. While Osgood was adored at Chelsea, his international career never quite took off. Despite his undeniable talent, Osgood was often overlooked by England's managers. His England career was a story of unfulfilled potential. Alf Ramsey, the architect of England's 1966 World Cup victory, was another manager who disapproved of Osgood's lifestyle, limiting his international appearances. He was part of England's squad for the 1970 World Cup, but barely played. Many believe that if England had used him more, they might have had a better chance of defending their 1966 title. Osgood's exclusion from the national team left him frustrated. He knew he was good enough to play on the biggest stage, but England's managers preferred more disciplined, traditional strikers. His flair and rebellious streak didn't fit their mould. Like many footballers of his era, Osgood was unprepared for life after the game. The money he had earned was modest compared to today's footballing salaries, and he struggled to find purpose. He worked various jobs, running a pub, making media appearances, but nothing truly filled the void football had left. The game had moved on. Chelsea had changed. The world that once adored him seemed to have forgotten him. In the early 2000s, Chelsea, now under Roman Abramovich's ownership, embraced Osgood once more. He was welcomed back as a club ambassador, and for the first time in years, he felt valued again. He was a regular presence at Stamford Bridge, sharing stories of the past and connecting with a new generation of fans. For Chelsea supporters, he was more than just a club legend. He was part of their identity. His presence at Stamford Bridge was a reminder of the club's glorious past and a source of inspiration for a new generation of players and supporters. Just as his life seemed to be stabilizing, tragedy struck. On March 1, 2006, while attending a family funeral in Slough, Osgood suffered a fatal heart attack. He was only 59. The news sent shockwaves through Chelsea and the footballing world. Thousands attended his funeral, including former teammates, club officials, and fans who had idolized him for decades. As a final tribute, Chelsea buried his ashes under the penalty spot at Shed End in Stamford Bridge, the very spot where he had scored so many memorable goals and a fitting resting place for the King of Stamford Bridge. Peter Osgood's legacy is one of brilliance, passion, and an unbreakable bond with Chelsea Football Club. He scored 150 goals in 380 appearances for the Blues, a record that places him among the club's all-time greats. But his impact goes beyond statistics. Osgood embodied the spirit of Chelsea during a golden era, a time when football was as much about artistry as it was about results. Today, Osgood's name is sung by Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge, a testament to the enduring love and respect they have for their fallen hero. His story is a reminder of the fleeting nature of life and the enduring power of sport to inspire and unite. Peter Osgood may be gone, but his legend lives on, a prince of Stamford Bridge, forever immortalized in the hearts of those who witnessed his magic. Peter Osgood's life was a tapestry of triumphs and trials, of joy and sorrow, a player with unmatched grace, skill, and charisma. He was a man who lived life to the fullest, who gave everything he had on the pitch, and left an indelible mark on the hearts of those who watched him play. His story is one of resilience, passion, and an unyielding love for the game. Today, his statue stands proudly outside Stamford Bridge, ensuring that generations of Chelsea fans will always remember the man who made them believe in magic. As we remember Peter Osgood, we celebrate not just the footballer, but the man. A man who brought light to the lives of so many, who inspired a generation, and who will forever be remembered as the King of Stamford Bridge. His legacy is a beacon for all who love the beautiful game, a reminder of the power of sport to unite, to inspire, and to endure. Though he left us too soon, Peter Osgood's legacy will live on forever. He wasn't just a footballer, he was, and always will be, the King of Stamford Bridge. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing to get updates on my future stories. Until next time, goodbye.